Okay, this is another Harris transmitter that is for sale. This is the RF. I don't see any. Here it is. RF-1110B amplifier with an 1124 power supply, a splitter and combiner setup. Hopefully I can get to the inside of that and show you. An RF-1310 exciter, and a very rare, took me forever and very expensive to find this. This is the RF-1815AR, which is a monitor that I've got some cables for that you plug into the in a port in the amplifier, and it'll give you all kinds of statuses of things. So when there's problems, and by the way, this does have some problems. I could not get the power supply to start up. So I always suspected it is an interlock issue, and this was going to be the unit to help me exactly figure out what the issue was, whether it's key line or coupler interlock, or whether there's a problem in this power supplies itself, the A and B supply, or one of a lot of other options. It's quite an amazing, really amazing system in that you can, see if I could zoom out a little, you can operate this without some of these amplifier modules. So if you pull one of these out, it'll reduce, the power output will just reduce. Oops, one more screw here. Each of these modules, let's see, it's a 1,000-watt system, so each is 250 watts each, I believe. And you pull one of these out, is the problem. And you can repair them or swap them. Oh, still. All right, this has got to work. You can pull out these modules. Each module is 250 watt. Hope it's focusing. You got some, good stuff there, and on this side, heat sink and other stuff. I won't go into too much detail here, but let me switch over to the back, and we can see what other goodies are in this deal. All right, let's look at the back. This is the back. I'll walk you through some of it. Some I won't walk you through. Let's start with the monitor. I have never attempted to get this to work. I do not have a power cable for it, but you're gonna have to just buzz it through to see where the connections are to the transformer. But and then as far as the cable that interconnects this to the amplifier, there are two cables here. You will get both of them. First cable was, when it was made, the maker unfortunately forgot to place the ring. You see the ring here on the connector, the ring that screws onto the receptacle connector. And after doing such a massive job, the person really was frustrated and gave up. Because there's no real way to add it once you've made the cable up. However, it does fit in fine. Let's see, I think it goes to here. So this is J5 monitor, and down, but this is on the amplifier, if you can see that. Let me zoom out a little bit. And it goes somewhere in here, and let's see if I can. Not having success with the orientation of this thing. Oh, there it is. So if you can see this cable here, it does fit in. It just doesn't stay. It just doesn't screw in. But really, if you don't mess around with it, it will stay in. Just a friction contact by itself. Okay. Now, if you don't like that one, this other cable, I don't know the history of this other cable. You'd have to buzz it out, to make sure it's all correct. This one was made in the wrong gender, so I just got this, got this gender changer. It needs to be female to connect into here. Let's go back to a little more zoom. So anyway, you've got some options here. Either way, at least one of them will work. Okay, here's the back of the exciter. Now, the one thing I'm always a little concerned about is the strain relief or lack of strain relief on this exciter cable. This is what goes to the power amplifier. It's a fairly good sized cable. I don't know, 8 feet, something like that. It goes into this massive connector here on the back of the amplifier. Again, let me try to get a little more. It's this cable here, and I just don't like how the strain relief is set up. It's just not relieving the strain. So you may want to. I don't know whether this could be part of any problems exhibiting, whether this is working or not, usable or not. I'm not sure, but it doesn't look good. All this steel woolly looking stuff is really, I believe, just the shielding. I don't believe that is indicating that everything is shredded inside this. I think it's probably still okay, but you have to check. You'll see this extra wire coming out that ultimately goes here. I believe that this would be triggering your TR relay. The system does not have a TR relay, so you have to provide for that in some way. All right, let's go down to this unit here. I hope to get I have some pictures on my website with this, but I'll have to go into more detail. This unit has two functions. It is a splitter, and this splitter takes the output of the exciter and splits it into the two inputs. Oh, here they are. I don't know if you can see that. The two inputs, input A and input B, of the amp, because there are two sides to this amp, A and B. And then down here, if you can see it, there are two outputs. Let's see if I can get anything to focus here. Now there are two outputs, A and B, and those go back up here to be combined into. So I believe this is the combiner, and this is some kind of a dummy load, so that any power that is not balanced, or I'm not exactly sure how combiners work, but it gets anything gets dumped in here that I guess isn't balanced in the A and B outputs. I think that's what happens, something to that effect. There's some connections in here, connectors. I have some pictures, but that's that. Okay, here's the actual amplifier itself. It runs, most of it is a 50 volt sort of situation. This side is the exciter. This side is the power connector, and that goes. You see, it goes down into the power supply. This is one massive connector. Let me show it to you. Pause. All right, look at that bad boy. That's crazy. It's got all like 2 or 3, I think at least 3 different size contacts. And look at that. That's crazy. Anyway, I'm very glad I have this cable. Without it, I don't know if you'd even be able to source the connector, never mind the actual cable itself with the different, most likely different AWG conductor sizes. I also wanted to point out here, there is this. Also, let's see if I can get this little jack, or this little thing here. Not focusing too good today here. That comes out of this exciter cable. This actually might be the TR relay control. I don't know. You'd have to buzz things out. Okay, other than that, the monitor I showed earlier plugs in here. Accessory. You'll see that there is a connector here. There does need to be 2 pins jumpered, I believe. I know the 110, this traditional 110 system has this. In order for key lock, for interlock. Okay, that's accessories. Transmitter switchboard. I don't know, you'll have to look. I have some documentation. Coupler control. Again, that probably needs some kind of an interlock. And then a filter option, high voltage. Let me show you, I do have this filter. I opted not to use it because I didn't, I wanted to get the system up and running, although I was not fully successful. I wanted to get it up and running with as few parts as possible. All right, back to this room. So this is the filter system. It's a noise filter assembly. I believe I believe it gets oriented. I'm not sure. Maybe it's oriented this way. The connectors, again, are the exact same ones found that I just showed you on the amp and the power supply and the cable. All you have to do is substitute this in. It just fits right in. You plug the cable into this, and then this goes into the amp. So it's just an optional inline filter for the power supply output, essentially. That also comes with it. All right, so here's some documentation with it. This is for the 1130A. Now the A is different. So the A uses bipolar transistors in the finals, whereas the B, the one I'm selling, uses MOSFETs or some kind of FET. But this is still useful for overall system interconnection, information on the power supply. There's plenty of useful stuff in here. Here's a little bit of information on the 1815, showing signals and pinouts and some other diagrams, but not very much. Really very little, just mostly about how to interface it. And then I actually do have some docs for the RF-1110B. Let me pull them out and take a look. All right. So here we've got some cabling. Some just standard information, some pinouts. A lot of the stuff is on the back of these pages for some reason. Troubleshooting guides, block diagrams. They're all 11 by 17, etc. So we've got this stuff. Let's put that aside. All right, a little more light on this. Hold on. Okay, we've got some light now. So here is some, I don't know, a couple dozen pages. This is actually on the 110B, going to the final. So here's some information about the final amplifiers. Probably that's the most important part of this whole thing. We've got interface connections. I'm just going to flip through it. Parts, methods, parts, equipment operating, test procedures. Here was a whole section on a coupler interlock, keyline delay jumper, automatic power control. It's got a lot of stuff in here. I don't know, I doubt that this is a complete manual. But the power supply, I have some I've got some other documentation on my internet website I can provide. And then finally, some additional paperwork that pretty sure I had scanned all this stuff in. I'll just flip through some of them. Okay, so this is also more information on this is the performance monitor cable fabrication details, the 1815, again, and all the signals. Okay, so we've got a whole section on cable fabrication, transmitter switchboard. This is neat, so you can get all the signals in this transmitter switchboard. Those are really those big switchboards on ships that you can route audio from different locations on the ship to the transmitter. I think that's what that's for. Power. What else do we got here? Okay, hold on a second. Power supply. This is that monster crazy cable. But at least got all the signals. Exciter. Okay, this is good. So you've got the exciter cable. So you can see if there's anything problematic happening in that exciter cable. I'm just trying to see if there's anything something here. So Somewhere in here, there's probably a PTT line for the TR relay. Okay, here is information on how it all goes together. Jumper connections. So this is important. See, it tells you all about pin B and D, jumper 8. You know, all these various jumpers you're going to need. I think this is an important part of it. I just never got that far with it. Here we've got some, what is this? The amplifier. Oh, this is good. RF amplifier. There are 4 of them. A3, A4, A6, A7. It appears. And here's the diagrams for it. Very helpful. Okay, this is the A2 of those boards. So here are the actual FETs. The RF-1150s. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think each board, each 250 watt board has 4 of these. That's what it looks like to me. Something to that effect. Yeah, and you've got some other stuff, splitters, input splitters. I think this is that separate unit. Oh, I'm not sure. Oh no, this may take 2. This is what this does, is it takes 1 input. So there are 2 inputs for the 100 milliwatt exciter, and it splits it into 4 for 4 amps. Okay, you've got component locations. Plenty of stuff here. Plenty of stuff here. All right, well, that's basically it. Hope you enjoyed the video.